Just to be clear, I never preach. I don't tell anyone how to or not to ride. Everyone has a brain connected to their right wrist, and how they ride is totally up to them. This is purely my philosophy on how I ride. I've had 3 major accidents. First one, flipping a wheelie, pushed the bike off and it landed on my foot, busting my ankle. Second, riding with a pillion, hit some diesel, bike lies on my leg and we slide for about 50 meters. Mangled my calf muscle and leg, was in bed for 2 months and took me 6 months to walk properly again. Luckily the pillion didn't even have a scratch on her. Third was on a Kawasaki Z1000 when a taxi decided to do a U-turn. Dropped the bike hits the taxi, I hit a tree after sliding for a long time. Busted my knee, road rash on 70% of my left hand side, entire body, busted knee and ankle. Took me around 6 months to heal up. Shortly after that I was talking to an older, very experienced rider, and he told me about his 70% rule. Now I've been following this rule for a long time. I always ride at 70% of my ability, 70% of the road conditions, 70% of traffic around me, etc., etc. That last 30% is reserved for avoiding dangerous situations, 30% extra skill left to get you out of them, 30% extra margin to avoid trouble, and what have you. Last enduro tour I was on in Morocco, on the very first day, 1 kilometer away from base camp, we were in the dunes. One rider breaks his left collarbone. His front wheel dug in and flipped him off the bike. Talking to him afterwards, he said he was riding at almost 100% to keep up with with the group, and made that mistake. Turns out, 2 years before that, on the very same tour, he broke his right collarbone on day 2. This resulted in him going home, missing on the other 5 days, and losing his €2,500 that he paid for that tour. Now luckily I don't have any footage of me having an accident where I was riding at 100%, but there is one that comes close. Was on a day ride, green laning, shit low power rented bike, not suitable for the conditions. It rained heavily, clay as slippery as an ice rink, ruts the size of gullies, and I wanted to keep up with the guide. Ignored my 70% rule, front wheel dug into the rut while the back wheel decided to go somewhere else, hit the bank hard. Luckily I had all my enduro armor on and nothing happened. Now I'll show you on this clip. You can see the 70% rule avoiding dangerous situations in action. Ignoring my rule and pushing to 90%, this was achievable, but there was that 10% left, which meant the truckers could have taken exception to my maneuver, didn't see me and moved closer, and all the other scenarios. On this clip, during my recent Euro tour, you can see how that 30% left in reserve can get you out of trouble. Easy corner, midway, front tire goes over I think a pebble, slides right a bit and then gets traction. This forces the bike to sit up and I head for the side of that mountain. As I had that 30% left in reserve, I didn't panic, target fixated on my exit, and made the corner. Just to emphasize my earlier point, this is not a preaching video. If it helps just one biker to become a safer rider and enjoy his or her riding even more, then to me, it was well worth it.